Good evening and welcome to a brand new season of Bobcat Football here on SportsNetUSA.net. I'm Matt Rogers alongside Ryan Osborn and Ed Ford here at Saddleback Stadium in Mission Viejo, California for today's game between the visiting Owls of Citrus College and the hometown Saddleback College Bobcats. Both teams coming in with a record of 1-0.
Matt, you look at both these two teams, like you mentioned, the 1-0 for both sides. But you look at Citrus. Last week they get 14 points in the fourth quarter against Chaffee. But the big story of their game was that they only had just a shade over 20 yards rushing.
Yeah, their running game really struggled last week. The defensive line, one of the stronger units for this Saddleback defense. So it's going to be quite the matchup. Citrus won the coin toss. They're going to start with the ball. And that ball was heading out of bounds, but the returner touched it. So Citrus is going to take over on the 17-yard line, and that's the way this game is going to get started.
And it's a tough one there, too, because like you mentioned, it was bouncing out of bounds on that far side. You let that go, you end up at the 40.
So Citrus comes in. They used two quarterbacks last week, Brian Salazar Jr. and Jake Dennerson. And it looks like they're going to start the game with Brian Salazar Jr. in the backfield. He's a freshman. Threw for 3 touchdowns last week. There's the snap and the handoff. And not much there. Keon Chapman, I don't think he even got back to the line of scrimmage, but there's an offside penalty. And that's one thing that's been a bugaboo for Saddleback all last year, and then the first game this year, 17 penalties last week. Something that Coach Fisher told me they have got to get under control. Salazar takes the snap, fakes the handoff to Chapman, and throws incomplete.
Lots of credit goes to Khalil Brown on that far side. He got into the backfield and was the one to be able to get the pressure on. Kept his hands up so that way there was not a clear passing lane.
It's going to bring up a 2nd down and 5. Citrus trying to get something started here early. Play action to Chapman, complete, no. Yeah, he made that catch over the middle. That was to his tight end, Keaton Morales. And it's a first down, the first down of the game for the Owls. Citrus coming out in a 4-wide set. Salazar drops back to pass. Looking to his left. And that pass falls incomplete. He's looking for Foster, the freshman out of Victorville. There's the swing pass out to the right. Jojo Enriquez makes the catch, but he is brought down immediately. And that's going to bring up 3rd down and long.
And that front four for Saddleback controlling things there. Marley McKenzie, Iosefa Tepeni, Gavin Blum, and Alex Newcomb from left to right. That initial first unit is what allows for them to keep that pressure on and contain it from going to the outside.
So big 3rd down here. Lots of pressure. Salazar able to spin out of it, gets the ball downfield, and that ball is caught. J.P. Sandiford. J.P. Sandiford, the big 6'5" freshman, caught one pass last week for a touchdown and makes a big catch there that keeps the Citrus drive going. Lots of pressure in the backfield. Salazar takes the snap, swings that pass out. He was looking for Cameron Bateman.
You go back to that last pass, it's real tough for Brandon Ross there. He's on the coverage on the near side, but it's the initial hesitation and fake to the middle that catches him.
It's going to bring up a 2nd down and 10. They're on the Saddleback 28-yard line. Citrus would love to get points here on this opening drive. Salazar takes a snap, fakes the handoff, and not able to get anything there. So another third down and 10. Caleb Morcacho in the backfield with Salazar. Salazar drops back to pass, gets this one off, complete, close to a first down. I think he's going to be about a yard short. That was Bateman with the catch. It's going to bring up a 4th down and 1. Citrus is going to go for it. They don't even huddle. And Salazar trying to draw them off sides. Seems like a pretty solid strategy against this Saddleback team, which has struggled with penalties. There is the snap. They are going to go for it. Salazar gets that one away, complete to the 10, to the 5, and into the end zone. Cameron Bateman with his 2nd touchdown of the season. And Citrus moves right down the field to take the early lead in this game.
And you look at that play call too. It's nothing more than just get a yard or two past the sticks and present your hands. It starts on that left hash mark, follows its way out towards the numbers. Once you present your hands, make sure you make the catch before turning upfield. All of a sudden, you make that defender miss and you're in the clear.
There's the kick, up and good by Alex Hernandez, and that makes the game 7-0.
You go back to last week, Matt, and one thing that this defense did very well is that they were able to contain the quarterback and the running back from bouncing to the outside. The difficult thing in this one so far has been the secondary moves by the wide receivers. Once they hit their initial hesitation, what are the defensive backs for Saddleback going to do? And that's the question that is going to be asked of them the rest of the way.
Well, and one thing Coach Fisher mentioned to me when I spoke to him before the game, he said the defensive line was a little banged up. Not that they necessarily had players who weren't going to be playing, but they're just a little dinged up after that first game. So maybe they're not going to be as effective as they were last week. So we'll see moving forward, are they going to be able to contain this Citrus offense? There's the kickoff. Khalil Pono Wong takes the kickoff out across the 20 to 30 and close to the 35, brought down about the 33-yard line. So we'll see Nicky Johnson lead the team out there. He got some snaps last year, returned this year as a sophomore. We're also going to see Tyler Dudden out there later in this game, but it's going to be Nicky Johnson getting the start. And there's the pass swung out to Nico Lopez, the big tight end. And Lopez limping a little bit coming off the field. And that's not a good sign. Lopez is one of the players that Coach Fisher told me to keep an eye on.
Well, last week he was excellent in terms of blocking, keeping things to the outside, but he also caught a couple of receptions that were for big gains.
Johnson takes a snap. He's looking downfield, gets that pass away and complete to Gentilella out across midfield, past the 45 down to about the 42-yard line. Gentilella, the top receiver on this team, caught 5 passes for 97 yards last week. There's the snap and the handoff. Kayvon Clark up the middle. Close to another first down, just a little bit short. Going to bring up a 2nd down and 1.
Jarrell Comer on the outside of the defensive line was the one who was responsible for the contain. He stops at least a 30-yard gain with that tackle.
There's a snap. Johnson drops back to pass. He's looking downfield, and he hits Gentilella on the sideline, but Gentilella not able to come down with it. That's going to be an incomplete pass. Going to bring up a 3rd down and 1.
And you do like the spatial awareness there by Gentilella. He knew where he was along the sideline, just couldn't get that last toe in.
Way better. We're going to stick with that for now. Thank you.
So Nicky Johnson lined up in the backfield with Clark, and Clark breaks a tackle out across the 20 to the 15 to the 10 to the 5. Touchdown, Saddleback! Kayvon Clark. And the Bobcats answer quickly.
Matt, you look at the block on the left side. Left tackle Nicholas Brown was the one who sets the initial corner. And then going up the field, you have Gentilella who sets that additional block at the 10-yard line, gives him a wide open lane to the sideline to be able to walk into the end zone. Otherwise, that stopped at about the 15.
Richardson on for the extra point. Kick is up, kick is good, and we are tied at 7. We're 5 minutes and 9 seconds into this game. We've already got 2 touchdowns. Kayvon Clark did an excellent job of watching his feet, tiptoeing along the sideline there, staying in bounds, and getting into the end zone.
I mean, you got the opportunity to talk to Coach Fisher earlier this week. Did you get the sense that he felt that this offense was going to be as explosive as it's been, if you include today's game in the first 5 minutes, in addition to last week, as it has at the start of the season?
You know, speaking to Coach Fisher, he's said to me more than one time that he feels that this team is better than the team that they fielded last year, that he came out and won a Patriotic Bowl last year. So he's definitely expecting good things from this team. He said this is definitely a better team. They just need to put it all together. They need to learn how to win, is what he said to me. There's the kickoff taken at the 20-yard line, out across the 25 to the 30, and brought down at the 33-yard line. That's where Citrus will take over with this score 7-7. So one of the things that Coach Fisher did do when he took over this team, remember Kerry Crabb was the coach last year and he retired at the end of the year. Fisher was the offensive coordinator, took over, and he changed the defense changed from a 3-3-5 to a 4-2-5. Salazar gets away in the backfield, able to get that pass away and make a completion out across the 40-yard line. But with those 4 men on the line, it's going to bring more pressure. It's going to make that run defense a little more stout. And we're seeing from Citrus, they haven't even attempted a run so far. They know that their running game is definitely their weak spot. 2nd down and 3. And as I say it, there's the handoff. Gary Yari. And looks like he lost that ball, and it was recovered by Saddleback.
So on the recovery, it's going to be Kaleo Brown who picks it up. It was kind of a team tackle there for Saddleback on the outside. As that ball goes towards the far 40, we'll say 41, 42-ish, 3 different Bobcats surround it. All of a sudden, ball's on the carpet, and it's Kaleo Brown who comes out with it.
It looked like it was Iman Carter, got his hand in there, was able to strip that ball away. And a big play, the first time that Citrus goes to the run game and they fumble the ball, echoing the issues they've had with that run game for the first 65 minutes of the season. Nicky Johnson hands this ball off. That's Kayvon Clark, who had that big run earlier for the touchdown.
And the other issue, too, that you have to take a look at, Matt, is the fact that they had 3 fumbles last week. They ended up losing 1, recovered 2 of them, and now you have 1 here today. That's a big thing that the Bobcats have to be able to try and pounce on. If they're able to strip that ball loose, it's going to be there for them to pick up.
We got a 2nd down and 7. That was actually Leonidas Bell with the carry, and he's got another one right here. Another player that Coach Fisher told me to keep an eye on. Bell didn't get any carries last week, but he's here today, and he's just got his first 2 carries of the season. Going to bring up a 3rd down and 5 for the Bobcats, trying to capitalize on that fumble recovery. Nicky Johnson going to take this snap under center for the first time today. He's got 3 wide receivers, Bell in the backfield. Johnson drops back to pass. He's looking for Gentilella. Gentilella's open, but that ball is tipped and intercepted. Picked off by Armand Hornsby.
And you want to talk about a gorgeous interception. He reaches up with one hand, more of a desperation type play that turns into athleticism because he's just trying to break up that pass that was going to land in Gentilella's arms in stride. He gets a piece of it, ball pops up into the air, and the awareness to be able to retract that ball, find where it was going to fall down, get underneath it, and still go upfield. It's an excellent athletic play from one of the better safeties in Southern California.
And Gentilella, he had a step there. He was free, and just a great play to get to that ball. If he didn't get his hand up right there, that was a touchdown. Salazar able to get this pass off. He's facing a lot of pressure there. Able to release it just in time. That was Luganbill putting pressure on him. Blitzing from the outside. Going to bring up a 2nd down and 10 for the Owls. Salazar putting the ball in the air again. J.P. Sandford was the intended receiver. Iman Carter, who forced that fumble a couple moments ago with the good coverage there. Going to bring up a 3rd down and 10. Salazar lining up with 2 men in the backfield. Takes a snap, going to swing this out. That pass is complete. And that ball comes out again. The ball went out of bounds.
Now you combine both weeks. 3 fumbles last week, 1 lost, 2 fumbles here this week, and we're not even done with quarter number 1. They've recovered 1, and they have lost 1. So 5 fumbles in just a little over 4.5 quarters.
That was Angel Barraza, the running back who lost the ball. It looked like it was Jacob Sekioba got his hand in there to knock it away. That's going to bring up a punt. That kick is up and caught on the 35-yard line. Up across the 40 to the 45. He's going to get across midfield to the 50, across the 45-yard line. And a good return there for Ben Stewart. So after we saw in the first 5 minutes of this game 2 quick touchdowns, we've seen turnover, 3 and out.
Well, I mean, what you were talking about earlier is after the second touchdown between these two teams, you said this is going to be high-scoring offense and a lot of high-powered offense. Now you switch that around, and it's all about how you can take care of the football. Both these two teams very good at takeaways. Last year, Saddleback, excellent.
So Nicky Johnson going to take over here, starting this drive in Citrus territory. Going to take the snap and hand it off to Kalapona Wong. And Wong only able to get about a yard there. So Saddleback uses several running backs. So we've seen Clark, we've seen Bell, we've seen Wong. They also have Jagger Blaukamp expected to get some action as well. Nicky Johnson drops back to pass. Looking downfield, doesn't have anyone open, gets that pass away. He was looking for Caden Robbins, but good coverage there, and Robbins unable to get to it. Going to bring up a 3rd down and long. Third and 9, Saddleback trying to take advantage of some good field position here, but in danger of a 3 and out. Nicky Johnson with 4 wide receivers. He's looking towards Gentilella, but Gentilella's covered. Johnson going to run with it out across the 40, dives across the 35-yard line down to the 32, and a 1st down. And Nicky Johnson, not one who's known for his running skills, able to pick up the 1st down with an 11-yard run on a 3rd and 9.
And what you like from him there is the fact that he was able to go up the field while still looking upfield. There's a difference with a lot of dual threat quarterbacks. They just take a look at where they need to run to. He keeps his head up, keeps his options open.
There's the handoff to Wong, finds a wall at the 30-yard line, bounces off it, gets across to the 29. Pickup of 3, going to bring up a 2nd down and 7. I was talking to Coach Fisher about the 2 quarterbacks. He's got Nicky Johnson and Tyler Dutton, and he was telling me that Nicky Johnson is more of the pocket passer, that Dutton's more of the athletic one, the one that you're going to see running the ball. But Nicky Johnson's showing that, you know, when push comes to shove, if he needs to, he will tuck that ball and run. Nicky Johnson fakes the handoff, is going to roll out to his left and completes that pass to Francisco Martinez out across the 20 to the 19-yard line, and that's another 1st down.
And that's a real difficult route to defend, too, there for Thomas White. He's the linebacker who's responsible for that right side. He goes along with Martinez, but Martinez just presents himself along the sideline as an extra option for Johnson. As Johnson surveys, he finds Martinez, and it's a real tough ball to try and defend.
There's the snap, and I don't know if he got it off in time. It looks like there's a motion penalty. False start on Gage Galbraith. Galbraith is in there at tight end for Nico Lopez, who still hasn't returned after we saw him limp off on that first drive for the Bobcats. And in at running back, the 5th running back we've seen, or 4th running back we've seen for the Bobcats. There's the handoff to Jalen Beverly Rushing, and he powers his way back past the original line of scrimmage to the 17-yard line, going to bring up a 2nd down and 8 on a 7-yard run by Beverly Rushing. Appropriate name for a running back. Brings up a second down and 8. Nicky Johnson's got 3 wide receivers. Takes the snap. Was looking for Galbraith, couldn't find him. Going to tuck it and run out across the 15, sticking close to that sideline, and gets about the 13-yard line. Going to bring up a 3rd and 5 after a 3-yard run. Three minutes left in the first quarter. Bobcats trying to break this tie. Nicky Johnson takes the snap. Looking, finds a man at the 5-yard line. That ball is complete. That was Caden Robbins, and it's going to bring up a 1st and goal at the 5-yard line. So 1st down and goal. Bobcats trying to break this tie. Started this drive in Citrus territory. There goes Martinez in motion. A turn and a handoff. And waltzing into the end zone is Jalen Beverly, rushing for his first touchdown of the season. Touchdown, Bobcats. Saddleback using a balanced offense to move that ball down the field and take the lead.
And it's all about the misdirection by the offensive line. Everyone's selling out that they're going over towards the left, and you plant that one leg, that outside leg, to cut back to your right. The counter is going to work every time.
There's the kick, up and good by John Richardson. And it's 14-7 Bobcats with 2 minutes and 11 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. So after that first drive by Citrus, we've seen the Bobcats score 14 unanswered. We've seen their defense step up, force a turnover, force a 3-and-out. Citrus going to need to get something here if they want to stay in this game. Could be a pretty big hill to climb if they can't get anything going on offense, and Saddleback takes the ball and goes down and scores again. There's the kickoff. Going to be taken at the 5-yard line and bobbled there. Picked up, taken out across the 10, and brought down right there is Lorenza Simmons. Big hit by Roman Harden on special teams, and Citrus is going to start with this ball on their own 12-yard line. So it's still Brian Salazar out there. He's going to take most of the snaps here today. On 1st down, he takes the snap and he hands this one off. And going up the middle was Lorenza Simmons.
And it's been such a rough time for Citrus rushing the ball in the early going. That's 9 yards right there. That's their 2nd longest run of the season in the early frame.
That's tough. That's tough early. Brings up a 2nd down and 1. Salazar rolls out, gets that ball away and complete. Brought in by his wide receiver, Jojo Enriquez. Taken down by Jacob Sekioba with the tackle. Brings up a 1st down for Citrus. There's the snap and the handoff, and there's nothing there that time.
carry by Ian Rogers. And on the tackle, Gavin Bloom.
Ian Rogers with the carry, and he was just swallowed up. Second down and 10. Salazar with 4 wide receivers. Drops back to pass, and he's looking downfield, and he's got a man, and that ball is caught out across the 30, the 20, the 10, and touchdown, Citrus. Cameron Bateman.
Matt, you were just saying that if Citrus is going to stay in this game, they cannot afford to not have points on this drive. They've got to answer with something. It's a quick out and go on that far side, and it's laid perfectly in his lap. Salazar with an excellent throw on that far side, perfect spiral that allows him to take it in stride at just about the, we'll call it the 35-yard line, and he was able to take it away from there.
That's the second touchdown of the game for Cameron Bateman. Extra point is up and good, and we are tied once again. So we got 28 points here with 36 seconds left in the first quarter. I know Ed's waiting for me to say it. We might have ourselves a barn burner here. Citrus, 169 yards of offense. Saddleback with 120 yards of offense. We're just seeing all kinds of offense here. Here comes the kickoff. Going to be taken at the 7-yard line, out across the 15 to the 20, 25, the 30, out across the 35, and it's going to be decent field position for the Bobcats, taking over about the 37, 38-yard line. And it looks like we're going to see Tyler Dudden for the first time today. Leading the offense out there. So Nicky Johnson, 4 of 7 for 44 yards. And now it's Tyler Dudden's turn. Dudden does bring that additional component of the running game. Gets that pass complete to Martinez across the middle and out past the 50-yard line into Citrus territory. Tyler Dudden had 49 yards rushing and a touchdown last week. That's going to bring us to the end of the first quarter. So through one quarter here at Saddleback Stadium, it is Saddleback 14, Citrus 14 here on SportsNetUSA.net.
And speaking of being here on SportsNetUSA.net, don't forget that if you want to continue to watch community college football right here on SportsNetUSA.net, we've got another game going on as East LA is taking on Palomar. That is live right here on SportsNetUSA.net. That's live from East LA, 0-0 as they end up the first quarter there. Now, Matt, if you look across the state of California, there are a couple of surprising scores at the moment. If you're more of a Northern California football fan, American River currently trails it by 1 score up in Northern California, and then back down here in Southern California, something that you and I were talking a little bit about before the broadcast started. Number 1 Riverside ends up losing their game on the road at Golden West for the first time in quite a while.
Yeah, I was saying to you earlier before this game started, I cannot remember the last time I saw Riverside lose a game this early in the season. So that's a shocking result. Even though Golden West is a very good team. Dudden with the handoff to Clark. Clark out across the 40 to the 38, and he's pushing and shoving. He's got himself a first down to the 36-yard line. That's the first time we've seen Kayvon Clark carry the ball since that 33-yard touchdown run. And it's another good run for him, and it brings up a first down at the 35-yard line.
First and 10 for the Cats at the Citrus 35.
So first down, Bobcats at the 35-yard line of Citrus. Tyler Dudden, his first drive of the game. Going to take the snap. Fakes a handoff. He's going deep. And he has a man. There's a little tugging and pulling, but no flags come out. He was looking for Joseph Walter. Oh, there is a flag. There was a lot of contact there.
Pass interference. Defense number 21. 15-yard penalty. First down.
As DeAnthony Caldwell called for the pass interference.
And it's a tough one there because there is enough contact to be pass interference. But what the other side and Citrus was trying to argue is that ball was uncatchable since it was just about 3 to 4 yards outside the end zone. Could it have been called, or at least could the hanky have been put away?
There's the handoff to Kayvon Clark, breaking a tackle and spins out of that one. Out across the 15 to the 10, takes a big hit. There's a flag down.
They run out by 18.
Jarrell Comer with a big hit. What a run for Kayvon Clark, who's looking like Superman out there. Now, it looks like that might be a helmet-to-helmet.
Personal foul. Face mask. Defense number 49. After this is the goal, automatic first down.
So a face mask on Leo Lopez. Going to be a half the distance penalty. And for the second time today, Saddleback has a first and goal on the 5-yard line. There's the handoff. Spun down
Kenny Manacero on the carry.
was Kenny Manacero.
He picked up a yard. In on the tackle.
Pickup of maybe a yard. Going to bring up a second and goal from the 4-yard line. Manacero still the back. Lots of different backs rotating in for Saddleback today. Martinez in motion. Dudden drops back to pass, and he's got Gentilella. Touchdown! Tyler Dudden to Nick Gentilella. And Saddleback has retaken the lead.
And all that is just a quick little pick play just outside the right hash mark. Gentilella, you see him go right up to the goal line, wait for that pick to be set, come around it, and then he's right there to present his hands for the touchdown.
So first passing touchdown of Tyler Dudden's career. Extra point is up and good, and it is 21-14. Well, there's the replay. Tyler Dudden hitting Nick Gentilella. And we've seen these two teams moving the ball down the field in two different ways. We've seen a lot of running from the Bobcats, and nearly everything that Citrus is doing is through the air.
And if I'm not mistaken, Citrus only has the 3 rushes like you were talking about a few minutes ago. The thing is with Citrus and their offense, you know that you're going to have to go to the air because that's what's been giving you success. But Salazar is playing phenomenal to this point. He has really been allowing his receivers to get stuff while they are still in stride and moving forward with their momentum. If they're able to continue to rely on that right hand of Salazar, it's going to be really well for them.
Here comes the kickoff. And that one's going to go through the end zone for a touchback. So Brian Salazar, in basically 5 quarters of play so far this year, has already thrown 5 touchdowns. So he's just slinging the ball all over the place. Meanwhile, Citrus today has 4 carries for 9 yards, all 9 coming on that one Chapman carry. There's the snap and the handoff. And that's Chapman with the carry. The only one who's been able to pick up any yards on the ground so far for Citrus. And there's the swing out to Chapman. Chapman makes the catch out across the 35. He's got the first down to the 36-yard line. Going to bring up a first down.
And Jack Matrenga is the one who ends up getting the tackle at the end there. Very physical outside linebacker.
Chapman goes in motion. Salazar drops back to pass. Going to swing this out again to Chapman. Chapman makes the catch out across the 40 to the 41-yard line, and he's driven out of bounds there. So Keon Chapman so far has all of the yards on this drive. A run and 2 catches. Salazar turns and hands the ball off. Not much there. It looked like it was Tarek McCant.
Number 55 for Citrus is out for 1 play.
Tarek McCant with a 2-yard run there. Going to bring up a 3rd down and 3. Salazar takes the snap, hands it off once again to McCant, and McCant, there's nothing there. And he is brought down. So the only guy we've seen do anything on the ground for Citrus is Chapman. We saw him with 3 straight plays, and they were moving the ball. They bring in McCant, and the drive stalls. That brings up a 4th down. And Citrus is going to have to punt here.
Hernandez on the field with punt.
There's the punt. And it's a short one. Going to get a decent little bounce there for Citrus and going to be down at the 20-yard line. We'll see if it's Nicky Johnson or Tyler Dudden coming out. It looks like it's going to be Nicky Johnson back in the huddle for this drive.
And Matt, you were talking about it just a few moments ago. What has brought a lot of success for the Bobcats offensively so far is the run to set up the pass. Very physical running backs for this Bobcat squad have allowed for them to pick up a lot of yardage. If they can continue to maintain that physicality, eventually as a defensive line, it wears on you and wears on you and wears on you early in a game.
So it is Dudden back out there to take over on this drive. Taking the snap from the 20-yard line, drops back to pass. He's got that one complete out to his running back. That was Leonidas Bell. And Bell out across the 30-yard line for a pickup of 12 to the 32.
Pickup of 13.
So we've seen the Bobcats use 5 different running backs. We've seen Citrus run the ball 5 times. So completely different offensive strategies here. Dudden sets up. He's got 4 wide receivers. Takes the snap and hands that off to Bell. Bell met in the backfield and not going to be able to get anything there. Maybe got half a yard, possibly a yard. Leo Lopez with the tackle. Sets up a 2nd down and 9. Dudden takes the snap, drops back to pass, and that one is picked off. And a clear path to the end zone. Can Dudden stop him? No, he cannot, and he's going to bring it back all the way. Touchdown. Elijah Ibanez.
And for Ibanez, it's all about jumping the route. He ends up spying where that ball is going to go to the far side, steps directly in front of it, and that ball was in his hands, and he was off to the races like you said. You look at these two teams. They're able to take the ball away. They're able to score, but both teams are giving the football up. So it's kind of a conundrum on both sides and a very, very high-scoring affair in the early going.
So that's 2 turnovers so far for Saddleback. Coach Fisher told me when we spoke down on the field that they needed to do something about the turnovers. They turned the ball over 3 times last week, and they've already got 2. We're only 6 minutes into the second quarter here in game number 2. So definitely an issue for the Bobcats in the early going. We have a 21-21 game here.
Real quick, taking a look at the out-of-town scoreboard, we mentioned that 42-35 win for Golden West as they were hosting Riverside. And then moving around Southern California, Bakersfield and Allen Hancock 12-0. Bakersfield with the lead there. Chaffee and Santa Ana, it's 10-0 Chaffee as they are the host. And one more score, El Camino and Canyons, it's tied at 3.
So Alan Hernandez set to kick this ball off. That's going to be Ben Stewart taking that one around the 13 out across the 20 to the 25. Wrapped up around the 30-yard line. Looked like Caleb Morcacho with the tackle there. And it's going to be a new possession for the Bobcats in what is now a tie game, 21-21. We still got 8 minutes and 54 seconds left here in the second quarter of this game. It is going to be Tyler Dudden coming out despite that interception on the last drive. He takes the handoff, or gives the handoff to Kalalpono Wong. Kalelepono Wong. Coach Fisher told me to just call him Pono. Wong picks up 1 on that handoff. Going to bring up a 2nd down and 9. There's the snap, handoff to Wong. Wong breaks the tackle, gets out across the 40 to the 45-yard line, brought down around the 46. Good run by Pono Wong. Wong led the team in rushing last week with 11 carries for 67 yards. Saddleback trying to come back after that pick 6, tied the score. That's the second pick 6 of the season for Citrus. Dudden able to get away from the pressure in the backfield, completes that one to Martinez. Francisco Martinez, they call him Paco. Makes that catch. Pickup of 8 for Paco Martinez.
Pickup of 7, 2nd and 3.
There's a snap and the handoff to Wong. Wong bounces off a tackler, spins his way across the 45, down to about the 40-yard line, and another first down. And Ryan, we still haven't seen Nico Lopez back in this game after he came off limping on that first drive. That's a huge part of this offense.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, he was out there for more than 80% of all the plays that Saddleback ran last Saturday at Pasadena City College, both blocking and receiving wise. He was crucial, especially in getting them out of third down situations.
Dudden going to put this one up, and he's got a man. It looks like Gentilella. And Gentilella, did he bring it down? He did. Big pickup for Nick Gentilella inside the 10-yard line. This is the third goal-to-go possession for Saddleback. They've scored touchdowns on their first two. Can they do it a third time? Dudden takes the snap. He hands that one off. That was Patrick Baisley. The sixth different running back to carry the ball today. Seventh different runner, if you count Nicky Johnson as well. Citrus is going to take their first time out. So with 5 minutes and 51 seconds remaining in this ball game here on SportsNetUSA.net, we've got a 21-21 game between Saddleback College and Citrus College. I'm Matt Rogers alongside Ryan Osborn here. We got Ed Ford running things. We've got ourselves a pretty good game. Lots of offense, but we've also seen the defense make some big plays. Usually you look up at a score that's 21-21 in the second quarter and you think, well, there's been no defense played in this game, but we have seen defense played in this game.
Well, it's kind of an old adage, right? Is it good offense or is it better defense? Is it good defense or is it better offense? You're seeing both these two teams offensively when they're getting up the field. When they're gaining yardage, it looks effortless on both sides. But the difference is that they're giving up the football. Both these each of the last 3 times that we've seen the ball given up, it has been a giveaway rather than a takeaway. Those are two very different categories.
Dudden takes the snap, turns and hands. Vasily once again with the carry, and not much there. Going to bring up a third down and goal. So we got third and goal from the 5. Basily's still in there at running back. There's 4 wide receivers with Tyler Dudden in the quarterback position. Dudden's going to take the snap. He's looking for Gentilella, who fights off a defender. Looking for a flag, but nothing is there. He was looking for Gentilella, but it did not get open. Lots of contact there in the end zone, but no flag. John Richardson going to come on to attempt his first field goal of the season. So far this year, it's just been touchdowns for Saddleback. 4 touchdowns last week, 3 touchdowns this week. John Richardson on to attempt his first college field goal. There's the snap, the hold, the kick is up, and John Richardson is good. That puts Saddleback up 24-21 with 5 minutes and 10 seconds remaining here in the first half. Three goal-to-go situations for Saddleback. They scored touchdowns on their first 2 and then a field goal on that one.
And anyone who's keeping up with the out-of-town scoreboard real quick, Mount San Jacinto 37-20 over top of Long Beach on the road. LA Pierce and Victor Valley. It's 7-0 Victor Valley. And one more down here in Southern California for Fullerton and Ventura. It's Ventura 17, Fullerton 7.
There's the kickoff. They're going to let that one go. It bounces on the 3-yard line and into the end zone. Almost a little dangerous play there because that bounced up and didn't look like it was going to go into the end zone at first. Could have been disastrous for Citrus, but it did end up rolling into the end zone. Going to be a touchback. So Citrus used 2 quarterbacks last week. They used Salazar, but they also used Jake Dennerson. But Dennerson has not seen the field today. Brian Salazar has been very, very good. Salazar takes a snap, turns and hands. That was Chapman, but nothing there for Chapman. Pick up of maybe 1, possibly 2. Keon Chapman, 3 carries for 19 yards. The rest of the team has 5 carries for 2 yards. Salazar drops back to pass, rolls to his right, gets that one away and complete to Cameron Bateman, who is hit immediately and brought down right there.
55 is out for 1 play with a jump ball.
Quick tackle by the Cats. Lucas Short.
So
That's a tough one because on the other side, Lucas Short was just waiting for it. He was just waiting for that ball to come down, and he had the immediate impact. It allows for this Saddleback defense to force a 3rd and long.
So 3rd and 6 for Citrus. Salazar drops back to pass. He's going to hit Chapman out of the backfield. Chapman makes a move, but he's run out of bounds, and it's going to bring up a 4th down. So a quick 3 and out, and Saddleback's going to get the ball back up by 3 and a possible chance to extend that lead before halftime. That punt nearly blocked. Smart move to not try and kick that one and step aside and get that one away.
Matt, you're a lover of sports as I am. If you're ever watching a basketball game and you see a beautiful Euro step, that's exactly what that looked like. You just tuck the ball, make sure that your left leg is planted, move to the right, and then let that thing fly.
Yeah, check and make sure that was Alex Hernandez and not Luka Doncic. So Saddleback's going to take over 1st and 10 on their own 22-yard line. It is going to be Tyler Dudden back out there again. He has led them to 2 scores and the 1 interception in his 3 drives. He's got 3 minutes and 15 seconds worth of time to play with. He's also got 3 timeouts as Saddleback looks to extend that 3-point lead before the end of this half. There's the handoff to Clark. Clark out across the outside on the left side, out across the 30-yard line. Kayvon Clark having a really good game. He had that 33-yard touchdown earlier today, but generally picking up chunks of yards every time he touches the ball. Going to be a 2nd down and 1. Dudden takes the snap, hands it off to Clark once again. Clark out across the 35 to the 40. He's got some room out across the 50 to the 40, and he's hit at the 35 and brought down at the 30, and another big play for Kayvon Clark.
And if that play looks familiar to you, it's the exact same one they ran on the opposite side of the field inside the 5-yard line that led to a touchdown. Offensive line goes one way, the counter goes the other way, and it's a wide open lane into the back.
So Kayvon Clark busts another one open, and field position has completely shifted from one side of the field to the other. Saddleback now with a 1st and 10 on the 30-yard line. This is going to run us down to the 2-minute timeout. Kayvon Clark, 6 carries, 112 yards here in the first half of this game. And it's just striking to look at the numbers on the ground so far in this game. 174 yards rushing for Saddleback. And you look over on the other side, and they've got 21 yards rushing. Just completely different style of offense.
Well, another thing that it does for you, too, mentioned it earlier, is that you're wearing down that other defensive line when you're consistently going on the ground because of the different coverages they have to run, because of all the physicality from the offensive linemen as well. So eventually, as the Bobcats keep moving their way down the field, they have longer drives. They're eating more clock. They're getting more chunk yardage because of the lanes that they're opening up. But also it's going to help them in the second half. I mean, how often, Matt, have we seen an offense use the run over and over and over in the first half? All of a sudden you come out in the second half anticipating adjustments, and all of a sudden the secondary is wide open because you're able to throw over the top thanks to a run that you establish in the first half.
Yeah, if you look at the time of possession, 17 minutes for Saddleback, 11 for Citrus. So all of that goes to just wearing down that defense, and it should pay dividends in the second half. Dudden takes this snap. He's going to hand it off once again, running it out to the right side. Bouncing off tackles and towards the sideline is Jalen Beverly Rushing, who has a rushing touchdown today. He picks up 9 there. Time ticks down to about 1:40 seconds left here in the first half, and I would imagine if Citrus sees the ball again this half, it's not going to be with a lot of time on that clock. Saddleback's going to run this clock down and make sure that they don't have time for Salazar to do anything. There's Rushing once again. Beverly Rushing brought down at the line of scrimmage. No gain on that play. Brings up a 3rd down and 1. And there's Beverly Rushing once more. Bowls over a defender. Out across the 15 down to the 13-yard line. Brings up a 1st down. 50 seconds left, and Saddleback is going to use their first timeout.
You always hear the adage in football, the low man wins, right? Well, he lowers his shoulder pads directly into the chest of that linebacker. As he's going forward, he keeps his legs churning. He's moving directly upfield with no hesitation. He's able to drop his right shoulder and go directly forward. It gains you an extra 3 to 4 yards, which is going to be crucial considering, as you mentioned, you've got all the time in the world if you are the Bobcats. You can set up your offense, you're inside the 15-yard line, and you have the opportunity to not only get points going into halftime, but you can do it any way that you'd like to. The rush is working. You're able to also throw, as you've seen earlier in this game. Dudden has a couple of nice throws that have brought some chunk yardage as well. It's kind of at your fingertips if you want to get creative here.
So Kayvon Clark comes in at running back, and like you said, the playbook is open right now. There's with 50 seconds and 2 timeouts, they can run any play they want. Dudden with 3 wide receivers, a couple of tight ends. There's the handoff to Clark, who goes up the middle. He's out across the 10, a pickup of about 5. And they're going to go ahead and let the clock keep running. They still have 2 timeouts. Clock ticking down towards 30 seconds. Plenty of time on the clock. Dudden drops back to pass. Now he's going to tuck it and run. He's out across the 5, and Dudden's into the end zone. Touchdown! Tyler Dudden extends the Bobcat lead with 20 seconds left in the first half. Saddleback goes up by 9 with an extra point coming.
And what sets that up is just a simple fake to his left. He ends up taking 2 steps to his left just off tackle, and he acts like he's going to throw it towards that far corner, tucks it into his right chest, and moves over to his right down the middle for a touchdown. For this Saddleback offense, it seems like they are able to do whatever they want, and they're making it feel easy right now.
Yeah. So since Tyler Dutton's come in, they've had 5 possessions, 3 touchdowns and a field goal. So very successful with Tyler Dutton out there on the field. And with 20 seconds remaining here in the first half, the Bobcats go up by double digits. 31 points in the first half. $204 yards rushing. And what's more, the defense has really shut Citrus down here in the second quarter. Brian Salazar has thrown for 10 yards here in the second quarter. The only points Citrus has put on the board have come from that interception return for a touchdown. There's the kickoff, and that one's going to go out of bounds. Probably the worst thing that could have happened on that kickoff with 20 seconds left. Citrus does still have 20 seconds and 2 timeouts, so they can still conceivably put points on the board before this half is over.
Ball in place to the 35-yard line. First down, Citrus.
So if you're wondering about a field goal, Alex Hernandez long of the year was 33 yards. It's going to take a big chunk of yards here in the last 20 seconds for Citrus to get into field goal range, but it is conceivable. But it looks like they're going to kneel on the ball and send this into half. So Salazar takes a knee. Time ticks down on this first half. So through one half here in Mission Viejo at Saddleback Stadium, it is the Bobcats 31 and the Owls 21 here on SportsNetUSA.net.
Score between Saddleback and Citrus is 31-21. The Bobcats, as we mentioned earlier, able to do pretty much anything that they want on the offensive side of the football. As we mentioned, 31-21 is our score at the end of 2 quarters of play. So far in this one, first downs definitely the way of Saddleback. 18-6, they have the advantage, a 12 first down advantage. Passing, it's 7-6 in favor of the Bobcats, but where the difference really has shown itself is in the rushing category. 10 first downs for Saddleback as opposed to 0 for Citrus. You go to total yardage between both these two sides in the first half of play, 319 total yards for the Bobcats to this point, 191 on the other side for the Citrus Owls. Bobcats have run 40 plays to 26 for Citrus. But I think one of the big storylines that you'll have to take a look at is the fact that Citrus so far is 1 of 5 on their third down efficiency. That's just 20%. You go to last week where they ended up beating Chaffee by a final score, as we mentioned, of 33-20. They went 8 of 15. Yards. Now you look at Saddleback so far, 9 of 14, 115. They're averaging about 8.2 yards per pass attempt, 13 of 18 for Citrus. And Salazar, he's at 9.4 net yards per pass play. Now, neither team has given up a sack to this point. However, Saddleback has been intercepted twice. You remember early on in the game, there was a beautiful athletic takeaway just about the 5-yard line as Saddleback was walking up the field, or walking their way up the field, and they end up giving the ball back. Now, total net yards rushing. There's the story of the game to this point. 204 yards rushing to this point, compared to just 21 on the other side for Citrus. Rushing attempts for the Bobcats, 26, 8 on the other side for Citrus. Now you bring it over to the average yards gained per rush. Based off just the stats alone, as we mentioned, just 8 rushes for 21, 2.6 yards per carry for Citrus, which was an improvement over last week where they were averaging just about 0.8 yards. And they really did have a lot of trouble when they were trying to get themselves up the field in the rush game. Kickoff so far between these two sides. Lots of good stuff happening there for Saddleback. 3 returns, 76 yards in total, and a time of possession of 18-18, as opposed to the other side for Citrus, where they have found themselves with 11:42 time of possession. They have given the football up 1 time, and they have they have fumbled the ball twice. They've lost it once. Now, if you look at individual performances to this point, as the Bobcats and Citrus are looking at their quarterbacking play and saying, okay, if you combine them both for the Bobcats and you find Salazar as well, bring them all together, you're looking at just a shade over 300 yards of total passing to this point combined between both squads. But you look at Tyler Dutton, and he has done pretty well by way of moving the Bobcats up the field. 5 of 7 for 71 yards to his credit. And then on the other side for Nicky Johnson, he is 4 of 7 as he has found himself with 1 interception and no touchdown passes. Brian Salazar for the Citrus Owls, 13 of 18, 170 and 2 touchdowns. But that's the thing. When you look at Brian Salazar, when he has had the football and had the opportunity to throw, he's been phenomenal, spectacular. What else can you say about him where he has truly been able to kind of carve up the secondary for the Bobcats, and he has had a lot of success at doing so. Now, what's interesting to see about the rush game, Kavon Clark, as Matt was mentioning earlier, 7 attempts, 116, an average of 16.6 yards per carry, a long of 39 with a touchdown. Right behind him, the next closest amount of yards is Jalen Beverly rushing. He's got 28 with a touchdown to his credit. Receiving-wise, Cameron Bateman has 2 touchdowns. He's got 4 receptions, 97 yards to his credit. And again, he had that long of 67 on the far side of the field. that brought the Citrus Owls to a tie game. Now, defensively for both these two teams, leading the way to this point in terms of total tackles for Saddleback is Gavin Blum. He's been doing an excellent job on the defensive line, making sure that Citrus doesn't have the opportunity to really establish themselves not only in the run game, but also getting to the outside. Jada Kiss on the other side, 5 total tackles. He has 3 solo, 2 assists, and he does not have a tackle for loss. So to this point, as we mentioned, the score at the half is 31-21. Saddleback with the lead over top of Citrus. Both these two teams are currently 1-0. Last week, Saddleback ended up getting a victory over top of Pasadena City College. They won that by 1 score. And on the other side for Citrus, 33-20 was the final there, as Citrus was able to get 14 points in the fourth quarter, 14 unanswered points in the fourth quarter that allowed them to get a win there. Now, as we take a look at the rankings in the state of California, because we want to move over to the out-of-town scoreboard, but in order to get to the scoreboard, you have to have the context of the rankings across not only Southern California, but the whole of California. Now, ranked number 1 in the state rankings was San Mateo with a 1-0 record. They came into the season with a number 1 ranking thanks to all the coaches taking a poll. Riverside City, who finished as the runner-up last year, came in at number 2. They only got 2 first-place votes, but that is going to change coming up in just a little bit. Next week specifically, actually more like Monday, that's when everything gets voted on, but that is when it is going to change for Riverside City College because the Tigers end up losing earlier today. We'll get to more on that in just a little bit. But Riverside updated record-wise, they are 1-1, but as of the last rankings, they were 1-0. Mount Sac, who previously was the number 2 team in the state of California entering the season, they dropped to number 3 with 1 first-place vote because they were just able to get by in week number 1, but not as dominant as most people thought it would end up being for the opener for Mount Sac. Modesto, in one of their highest rankings that they have held in the last 15 years of play, they finish up at number 4 in the rankings with Butte right behind them, who also did get a first-place vote. Butte was previously ranked number 6 in the preseason, but Butte ranks at number 5. They move up 1, and El Camino ends up going up 3, right behind them at number 6. El Camino started off the season at number 9. They move up to number 6. That's a team that a lot of people have their eye on, especially here in Southern California, because they have a reputation of possibly playing spoiler coming up in the playoffs. Golden West is 1-0 and make it 2-0 after their big-time win over Riverside City College earlier today. Now, as of the rankings that were released on Monday, they were at number 7. That's definitely going to change. And of course, you get a big-time win over a top 2 team in not only just the state of California, but a top 5 team in the nation. That's going to bring your ranking up quite a bit. Ventura at number 8. They were previously ranked number 11 in the preseason. They also got a first-place vote. And then rounding out the top 10 were San Diego Mesa and Fullerton. Now, Fullerton ends up moving from number 15 all the way up to number 10. They move up 5 spots with a win over top of Moore Park, and a Moore Park team that the previous year had finished with a 4-6 record, but they really played Fullerton well. Nonetheless, the Hornets are able to go up 5 spots. They finish up the top 10. Now, that's where you find Saddleback. Just outside the top 10 rankings, but if everything continues to remain the same, especially here in the SCFA, that is going to change quite a bit, as Fullerton was 1-0 entering this week, but they currently trail it to Ventura, and Saddleback, who, as we mentioned, 31-21, they are up here at the half. If they continue with their winning score, they will end up to 2-0, and they're going to move inside the top 10. Sequoias, Diablo Valley, Bakersfield, and American River round out the top 15. American River is going to have to get something changed in a hurry, as they are currently trailing. We'll get to more of that in just a moment. Now, if you take a look at those rankings, you have to look at what's going on across California in terms of current scores. How did those teams turn those rankings into results? Well, number 1, you go with San Francisco, 24-21. They beat College of the Sequoias at Sequoias by a 3-point score. But the big one that kind of sent shockwaves throughout Southern California in the SCFA earlier today, Riverside and Golden West. Golden West with a 7-point win over top of Riverside. And when you look at the final stats, it's kind of Golden West dominating the second and third quarter of play. 21 points in the second quarter, 14 in the third. At one point, there was 21 unanswered by the Golden West Wrestlers, and it allowed for them to really get into a groove going towards the fourth quarter. Riverside was able to get 14 in the early part of the fourth, which allowed them to get back into the game and tie it up at 35. But a late one by Golden West allows for them to get the victory 42-35. So the number 2 team in California and a top 5 team in the entire nation, and Riverside ends up finding themselves with a loss. And Golden West, who was ranked in the top 10, if I remember correctly, they're ranked in the top 7. They're going to move up quite a bit. Number 1 in California, San Mateo, was on the road at Reedley, 24-7. No one is surprised that San Mateo got a win there, as the Bulldogs continue to keep their winning ways going. Sacramento City and San Jose, that is a Sacramento City win, 31-27, the final there. Feather River takes it to Gavilan, 61-6. Los Medanos and Coalinga College, 41-20. Los Medanos with the win there. And then Chabot and Cabrillo, as Chabot is playing at Mount Eden High School for the moment being. Chabot 20, Cabrillo 15. That's a final. Modesto, number 4 ranking in California, and they will stay that way as they win it 27-20 over top of Santa Rosa. That is a final there, as Modesto was able to get 10 points in the third quarter, 17 unanswered at one point in the second and third, and they were able to hang on after 10 points from Santa Rosa in the fourth. That made it close, made it a one-score game, but it just wasn't enough to top the number 4 team in California. Now you switch over to 2 games that are currently in progress. Mount San Jacinto, 38-20, as they are on the road at Long Beach, just entering the fourth quarter of play with about 10 minutes or so left. 38-20, Mount San Jacinto with the lead. The Mount San Jacinto Eagles, of course, moving up in their division, or I should say conference, to the national a few years back. Last year, had a decent year. They got ranked in the top 15 at one point, but didn't end up finishing the season the way that they wanted to. But they are starting off strong here. Mount San Jacinto, again, a 38-20 lead on the road against a very quality opponent in Long Beach. Now, American River, who is ranked in the top 15, they are the number 15 team entering today. Well, that might change if the score remains the same. Diablo Valley is hosting American River. Diablo Valley 31-24. They have the lead with 5:26 left to go in the third quarter of play. Allen Hancock and Bakersfield. Bakersfield is hosting First Responders Night, and it is 12-7. Bakersfield with the lead over top of the visiting Allen Hancock Bulldogs. We go back to Santa Ana and Chaffee. Chaffee, remember, just last week lost 33-20 to these very same Citrus Owls, but they are up handily over top of Santa Ana, 17-0. Chaffee with the lead with 2:15 left to go in the second quarter of play. West LA and Antelope Valley, that is West LA 28, Antelope Valley 14. West LA is on the road there, and with just about 3 minutes left in the second, West LA continues with the lead. Now to finish off Southern California, Canyons and El Camino, they are in a defensive battle for the ages at the moment. Started the third quarter there, Canyons and El Camino deadlocked at 3. That's right, 3. 6 combined points in that one between El Camino and Canyons, with 2 teams that are very good at getting the football across the goal line, but neither one is really able to get themselves in the lead. 3-3 is the score between Canyons and El Camino. Cerritos and Moore Park. Cerritos with a 9-0 lead on the road at Moore Park with, we'll call it, just under 30 seconds left in the second quarter there, so they're heading into the half with Cerritos on top 9-0. Now, Fullerton and Ventura have completely changed. Earlier, it was 17-0 at one point for Ventura. They not only had a lead over Fullerton, but they were taking it to the Hornets defensively and offensively. They were moving the football. They had over 200 yards of total offense in the first quarter and a half of play, but that's changed. Now you're looking at the second quarter being dominated by Fullerton College. 2:55 left to go in the second quarter there. Fullerton 21, Ventura 17. So far that is 21 unanswered points by the Fullerton College Hornets, and they lead it by 4 with under 3 minutes to play in the second quarter. East LA and Palomar, that's a game that you can catch right here on SportsNetUSA.net. You flip right over, you're not done with your college football needs. Well, the way that you can continue to help yourself out there is by making sure that you stay with SportsNetUSA.net and watch East LA College Football. Corey Nalen, Mark Pavlovich, both of them on the call over there, along with Albert Robles and Palomar, with a 7-0 lead over top of East LA on the road at East LA. That's just about going to half at the moment. Again, that is on SportsNetUSA.net. You can tune right over to East LA, watch them finish off the half as we get set for the second half here. Now, I said we were rounding up Southern California, but there were a couple of scores that caught my eyes as you're scrolling through. Two more scores that you can point to. San Bernardino Valley at East LA. San Bernardino Valley 20-0. They lead it as they go into the half there on the road. Of course, San Bernardino Valley getting a brand new head coach, Coach James Griffin, now the head coach of San Bernardino Valley. It's 20-0. He has a chance to get his first win as a head coach in the 3C2A. And then finally finishing off Southern California, San Diego Mesa and Mount Sac. It is 10-7. San Diego Mesa with the lead over Mount Sac as they go into the half. So again, 10-7 lead, 3-point advantage for San Diego Mesa, as the Olympians try and make a huge statement that would resonate across the SCFA. And the question is, can they hang on? Of course, that is going to the half, so there's still a lot of football to be played there. But for the Olympians to be able to take down a top 3 opponent in Mount Sac would be huge for that program. As again, they're trying to continue to get their foothold in Southern California and get themselves kind of a reputation. Once again, they've been to the playoffs once. They've had an opportunity for postseason play multiple times since moving up to the National, and they're trying to continue that here with a big win over Mount Sac if they can do exactly that. As we return here to the second half, you flip it over to the current score. It's the Bobcats 31, as opposed to the Owls 21. 52 combined points between these two squads as they go back and forth against one another, putting up points on the board, taking the ball away, giving the ball away. But it seems like the Bobcats, especially at the end of that second quarter of play, were really able to grab hold of what they want to do in this one. Now the question is, if you are a Saddleback fan, can you maintain this momentum going into the second half of play? As we bring back Matt, you look at these two teams. We're just talking about the Bobcats, and the big thing for the Bobcats is, as you were talking about, you pointed it out, their rushing attack has led them to a lot of yardage. 319 in the first half of play. That's not a small thing.
No, not at all. They have dominated on the ground. They have dominated time of possession. And another thing, which we didn't mention at the end of that first half, when Saddleback scored that last touchdown, they're getting the opening kickoff here in the second half. So it's basically they scored a touchdown and then the ball's kicked back off to them. So they're coming in here with a 10-point lead and the ball and a chance to really put Citrus behind that 8 ball. So it's going to be interesting to see who the quarterback is to start this second half for Saddleback. We saw Nicky Johnson start the game. We saw the running game working, but the passing game really wasn't working with him. 4 of 7, 44 yards and an interception. And then we saw Tyler Dudden come in, and the offense just kind of clicked with him. You know, he did throw that interception that was a return for a touchdown, but for the most part, they were just moving the ball down the field since Dutton came into the game. And it'd be interesting to see, does Coach Fisher go back to Nicky Johnson to start the second half, or does he stick with Tyler Dudden and see what this offense can do? So Alex Hernandez set to kick off and start the second half. And there we go. The second half has started. That ball's going to be taken about the 10-yard line out across the 20 to the 25-30. He's got a lane out across the 40, the 50, only the kicker to stop. Gets past the 40 to the 30, down to the 20-yard line, and brought down there. Jagger Blaukamp. Is there a more perfect way to start the second half for the Bobcats? Just look at Blaukamp, just finds that lane and blasts right through it. Held up just a little bit by the kicker there. If not for that grab of the jersey, I think Blaukamp was gone. credit Alex Hernandez for getting his hands on him and keeping him from breaking it. It is going to be Nikki Johnson coming out to take the snap here in the third quarter, starting at the 18-yard line. Nikki Johnson takes a snap, looking to pass. That pass incomplete through the hands of Leonidas Bell. I'm a little bit surprised they'd come out throwing on the first play.
But I mean, the playbook is really open for them. As you were saying, towards the end of that first half, they were in a similar spot going from left to right, where they had the opportunity with momentum to be able to expand on it. Now, if you have the chance, you got to go back to the run.
There's the handoff to Bell out across the 20-yard line. Thrown out of bounds about the 16-yard line. That was Comer making the tackle. Brings up a 3rd and 8. Nikki Johnson takes the snap, drops back to pass, looking into the end zone. Had a man, Joseph Walter. Lots of contact. Did a flag come out? I didn't notice. So there was a flag there. So Kellen Smalls called for the pass interference, going to bring up a 1st and goal from the 4. And this is the 4th time that the Bobcats have had a 1st down and goal to go. They scored touchdowns their first 2 times and got a field goal on the 3rd time. Leonidas Bell in the backfield with Nikki Johnson. Going to take this snap from the 4-yard line. Johnson hands it off to Bell. Bell following his blocker. Bounces off a tackler and into the end zone. Leonidas Bell extends the lead for the Bobcats. Just powering his way through. No one was going to stop him. The 4th different player to run the ball for a touchdown today for Saddleback. You got rushing touchdowns by Kayvon Clark, Jalen Beverly rushing, Tyler Dudden, and now Leonidas Bell. Extra point is up and good, and Saddleback has extended their lead to 38-21.
And you have to give a lot of credit to this offensive line. Left to right, Nicholas Brown, Tyrone Portis, Ryan Carby, Greg Shade, and Gabriel Alvarado, who have done an excellent job of making sure that those lanes are open. You're consistently seeing these running backs get into the 2nd level without being touched because of how well the offensive line is doing.
It just makes their job just a little bit easier, knowing that every time they take that snap, every time they take that handoff, they've got a couple yards before they're going to be touched. So the big kick return by Blaukamp leads to a touchdown for the Bobcats and a 17-point lead just 57 seconds into the second half. There's the kickoff, and once again almost going out of bounds, taken at the 10 out across the 20. And now a chance for a good run return for Citrus out across the 30. He's got lots of room to the 40 and pushed out of bounds at the 48-yard line. Carlos Sandoval, the kicker, was the one who finally pushed him out of bounds. And a big return at a important time for Citrus. They're going to take over on the 49-yard line. And we still got a whole second half to play, but it kind of feels like they need to get points on this drive. Salazar drops back to pass, and that is incomplete.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, but Saddleback has scored on each of their last 4 drives that they have had. If you're Citrus, not only do you need points on this, you need a touchdown. Because if this starts to get away from you very early and very quickly here in the second half, it's going to be real hard to make up that ground with the amount of time remaining.
Yeah, I mean, Citrus had 20 yards of offense in the second quarter. They've got to get something going here. Salazar drops back to pass. He's got a man complete out across the 40 to the 35-yard line and brought down there. Big hit, bringing down J.P. Sandford.
And that's where their success was earlier, is allowing Salazar to be able to use his right arm to get them up the field.
Salazar with the handoff to Chapman. Not much there for Chapman, and pick up maybe a yard. And it feels like Citrus has been trying to establish that run, and the run's just not there. And ever since they've been going to it more, it feels like their offense has stalled. Salazar drops back to pass. He's got a man complete along the sideline. Pushed out of bounds, close to a first down, but not quite there. Stephen Carlin with the reception, his first catch of the game. Going to bring up a 3rd down and short, about 2 yards to go. Salazar drops back to pass. Lots of pressure. Gets that one away. Lots of contact in the secondary. And there's the flag. Just a lot of contact there. He was looking for Bateman, who does have 2 touchdowns on the game. Bateman looked like he had a little bit of a step. And they pick up the flag. They did not call pass interference on that. Going to set up a 4th down and short. And Citrus is going to go for it. This would be a 42-yard field goal, so they got to try it. Salazar fakes the handoff. Going to try and run with it. No, pulls it back. Slings that ball out to the outside, and it is incomplete. He was looking for Robert Rodriguez.
And the read was there because he's going to the outside to the hash mark, realizes that the linebacker takes a step in, and he's got Rodriguez on that far side, but it's the way that he throws the football. Excellent spiral, but the issue is that when the guy's only about 6 yards away from you, that's not what you need. You need a little flip, a little toss-up to allow him to grab it in stride and get across that first down marker. And this one, the read was there, but the delivery wasn't.
So Nicky Johnson in the offense for Saddleback takes the field up by 17 points. And a chance to really widen the gap here. Nicky Johnson drops back to pass, looking around, can't find anybody, sings that one out across. He was looking for Rodriguez, unable to hit him. And a man down. Looks like Basley is down. And we've luckily been able to avoid the injuries in this game. This is the first time, other than that Nico Lopez injury, that we've seen somebody down, and Nico didn't really go down. He just kind of limped off. We haven't really seen anybody go down in this game. Basley is up. So it's Nikki Johnson at quarterback, and for the first time today we see Jagger Blaukamp in the backfield with him. Blaukamp with that big kickoff return to start the second half, now getting his chance at running back. There's the handoff to Blaukamp, looking for some room along the right side, but not much there. Brought down about the line of scrimmage. That's going to set up a 3rd down and 10. Third down and 10 for Saddleback. Nicky Johnson drops back to pass, got lots of time. Going to try and run for this, but not much there. He's pushed out of bounds by Carson Howard. Pickup of 5, but not going to be enough. And Saddleback is going to have to punt this one away.
And it's a tough one, too, because Jagger Blaukamp saw that he was under duress and was getting out of the pocket, and right at the numerals decided to just take off. He was at about the 45-yard line and was just getting out of reach of the defensive back, and that's where that football was going to go initially. But Johnson, good awareness by him, realized he was approaching the line of scrimmage and just wasn't going to have the time to get that throw off.
And here we are, 10 minutes, 47 seconds left in the third quarter, and Saddleback is punting for the first time today. Excellent roll for Saddleback, and he picks it up and tries to go with that, and bad decision there. Emon Carter tried to make something out of that. Kirkpatrick Jr. made him pay for that decision. So we'll see if Salazar can get something going. A little bit of a drive last time, but it stalled. Lots of pressure. Salazar's not going to get away from that. Jaden Genova in there for the sack.
That design was to allow for both defensive ends to get into the backfield, and you just throw a little toss right over top of them. You have a couple blockers moving towards the 25-yard line, but in this case the free runner was able to get to Salazar before he can make the throw.
So a 9-yard loss there. Salazar once again getting pressured, gets this one away, and that's going to be picked off. Interception. Justin Zeppa. First interception of the day for Salazar, and Saddleback gets the ball back in great field position.
And it all starts with the pressure of Latuli. Latuli is chasing Salazar down the right-hand side. His hands are in his face the entire time. As Salazar lets that throw go, that's where the contact happens, and he can't actually step into it. So the ball floats up into the air, and it's well equipped for the Bobcats to take it over.
So it's going to be Nicky Johnson back out there at quarterback. And we've seen the offense just has not run as smoothly with Nicky Johnson out there as it has with Tyler Dudden.
False start. Offense number 79. 5-yard penalty. First down.
So a false start there by Anthony Hastings. Johnson drops back to pass. He's looking deep downfield. Nothing there. He's going to run with this one. Nicky Johnson ends up getting a couple yards, maybe a yard out of that. So he had his eyes downfield. He was looking the way of Caden Robbins, but Robbins just wasn't open. There's the snap and the handoff to Clark. Clark having an excellent day today. Comes out across the 30 and a pickup of about 7 yards there. Going to set up a 3rd down and 2. So this would be about a 43-yard field goal from here. So it might be 4 down territory where they are, kind of on the edge of field goal range. Johnson drops back to pass and a big rush, and Johnson's not going to get this one away. Johnson dragged down. There will be no points on this drive. Take a look at the replay. Right up the middle.
Beautiful job there by Thomas White. He gets into the backfield very quickly, but what you like there, Matt, is that he keeps his hands up, making sure that Nicky Johnson doesn't have a clear lane to look at where his receivers are going to be.
So Saddleback going to go for it on 4th down and 14. Foot on the gas. Nicky Johnson once again in trouble. Nicky Johnson is able to spin out of it. Still keeping his eyes downfield. He's got a man. Incomplete. Nicky Johnson had a man. It was Caden Robbins, but Robbins unable to pull it down, and that's going to be a turnover on downs for the Bobcats.
And the compete level for Johnson on each of the last 2 plays, he's keeping his legs moving. He's trying to make sure that his shoulders are dipping so that way he can't actually be in full grasp of the defensive player. And what you like there, too, is that he leads his receiver towards the sideline. It's in a spot where only the receiver can get to it. Just wasn't able to be hauled in.
So Citrus, once again, going to try and cut into this lead. It's a 17-point lead. We've seen the offenses slow down a little bit here in the second half. There's a flag out. Salazar brought down. That was Kaleo Brown bringing him down. We'll see what the flag is. Holding, I would assume that will be declined. And the sack for Kaleo Brown will stand. So whereas it seemed the defense was playing a little bit more conservative in the first half, it looks like Jeff Fisher's defense is pinning their ears back and really coming after the quarterback here in the second half and putting a lot of pressure on Brian Salazar.
And that's the big thing, too, is that if you know that the other team doesn't have the opportunity to run because they haven't had as much success as they would like in the early season, you can sell out more to the pass. You can dedicate a couple more linebackers or maybe even a defensive back to give extra pressure and go for a blitz and try and send as many people as you can to make it uncomfortable for Salazar because you don't have the threat of the run. So it takes away that extra opportunity for Citrus to kind of deceive something because they just haven't been able to establish that run game.
So Salazar drops back once again, lots of pressure. He's trying to get that one out to Chapman. And he was just surrounded by Bobcats there. Going to set up a 3rd and long for the Owls here. Third down and 14 for Brian Salazar and the Citrus Owls. Snap is low. Salazar able to hang with it. Rolls out to his right, gets it away, and finds a man. Complete. Number 17, Lorenza Simons. Simmons goes up and makes that catch there. big conversion for the Owls. And Saddleback's going to take their first timeout of the second half.
The Bobcats had to take that timeout because at one point they had 15 guys on the field. They were trying to get 4 off at the same time, but they just weren't going to be able to reach the sideline before the ball was snapped. So in this case, you see Coach Fisher run down the sideline to the officials, say, I've got to get a timeout in to prevent the penalty from taking place. Matt, you're watching both these two teams, and like you mentioned, the defense for Saddleback is starting to dial up a lot more pressure. They're starting to get into their own rhythm. We saw the offense has got their own momentum going, and they have proven to be explosive at times. But now if you flip it over to the Citrus offense, they're getting into a groove. They're starting to get the gears turning, but what else can Citrus do at this point to make sure that the momentum stays in their favor?
You know, it's a tough call. You see them, they're still trying to get that run going. And, you know, if you're a casual football fan, you'd say, why do they keep running? But even when the run's not successful, it still opens up stuff for that pass game. So you can't completely abandon it. But at the same time, it's just not working for them. It's all kind of falling on Brian Salazar's shoulders right now. And there's the handoff. And it's same old for that Citrus running game. They get maybe a yard, maybe back to the line of scrimmage, and they're pushed back. That was Chapman on the run there.
And on the tackle, also 16, Luganville was there. Second and 9.
A flag comes flying. Lots of pressure once again. Salazar spins away from it, gets away, and throws that one out of bounds. But I think that a Saddleback player might have jumped off sides.
Third down and 9. Flag on the play.
Offside. Defense number 97. In the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
So Luke Averill jumped offside there. Going to give 5 free yards to Citrus. So instead of a 3rd and 9, it is a 2nd and 4.
Second down and 4 now for the Owls.
We'll see if Salazar can take advantage of it. There's the snap and the hand to Cameron Bateman. Bateman coming around on the sweep, picks up the first down.
And that's how you can get a lot more success in the run game. You engage everyone on that right side, including the wide receivers, get them outside and blocking for you, and allow for your runners, your rushers, to be able to move with space before they even get up to the line of scrimmage.
There's the handoff up the middle, pick up a 4. That was Tarek McCant with the carry. Got about 3 on that carry. It brings up a 2nd down and 7. Very important drive for the Owls right here. Salazar drops the snap. He's going to try and run with this. Can't get to the outside, and he's dragged down there. Luganville brings him down at the line of scrimmage. Sets up a 3rd down and 7. Salazar drops back to pass, looking deep. Once again, he's flushed to the outside, finds a man along the sidelines. Incomplete. He was looking for Jalen Thompson. And it's going to bring up a 4th down.
And unfortunately for Thompson, he runs a very good route and presents himself just at the, we'll call it the 17, 18-yard line. but the issue was his left foot was touching the out-of-bounds marker, and his right foot was still in bounds. So while he was trying to get those toe taps in, unfortunately for him, that left foot is what takes him out.
So once again, another 4th down attempt for Citrus. Salazar drops back to pass. He's got a man, and it goes straight through his fingers. He was looking for Bateman. Bateman unable to bring it in, and the 4th down conversion is once again denied. So Citrus really has been struggling with those conversions. Just 2 of 7 on 3rd down conversions, and now 1 of 3 on 4th down. And Saddleback back out there on offense, holding on to a 17-point lead. We got 4 minutes and 38 seconds remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Nicky Johnson at quarterback still. Takes the snap and the handoff. That's Bell out across the left side. Leonidas Bell with a pickup of 8, maybe 9 on that carry. Brings up a 2nd and maybe 1.5. Johnson hands to Bell once again. Going to try and sweep to the outside. This time nothing there. Bell's pushed out of bounds. Loss of maybe a yard or 2. Going to bring up a 3rd down. So we've definitely seen the offense slow down here in this 3rd quarter. We got that explosive kick return to open up the second half, and Saddleback scored 57 seconds into the half, and we have not seen any scoring since. Nicky Johnson's pass is dropped. He was looking for Gentilella.
And it's just one of those cases where the receiver takes a look upfield because he knows he's got an extra 10 yards. So as you take a look over to your left for that extra pay dirt, well, you forget to make sure that you've got the football secured in your hands. Gentilella has had himself a very good game for the Bobcats. So on this one, just looking upfield just a shade too early, but he has more to recover later.
There's the punt, a little bit of contact with the punter, but a flag doesn't come out. And Citrus is going to take over. So we've definitely seen this game slow down a little bit here in the 3rd quarter. We were going at breakneck pace in that first half, and now we're just kind of both teams are kind of jabbing at each other, but no one's landing that big punch.
I mean, it's kind of hard to be able to replicate 42 points combined in the first, 17 minutes of play?
Yeah, it really is. So Citrus once again trying to cut into this lead, but every time that, the offense fails, a little bit more time runs off the clock, which is fine for Saddleback. Citrus needs to make something happen. That pass is incomplete. J.P. Sandiford was the intended target. Sandiford has made a few catches today. Big 6'5" target.
You're mentioning Sandiford. He's the guy that they're trying to get on a one-on-one basis on this left-hand side. They're going to have an opportunity to do exactly that here.
And there's the jet sweep again. Handed off to Jojo Enriquez, but nothing there. Pick up a 3 yards. Going to bring up a 3rd down and 7. So Citrus trying to work things, trying to get that run game started. It's just not happening, but they're not giving up on it. As we run under 3 minutes left in the 3rd quarter, we got a 3rd and 7. Citrus is at midfield, just a little bit before midfield at their own 48-yard line. Salazar drops back to pass, has a man complete. out across the middle. That's J.P. Sandiford, the man we were just talking about.
If you have a big receiver like Sandiford who's able to go up and get the ball, you got to place it exactly where he can get it. Like you mentioned, he's over 6'2". He can go up and grab the football. So make sure that you're able to put it at his apex and let him go to work.
Citrus trying to move the ball quickly. No huddle. There's the handoff to Chapman, who goes up the middle. He picks up about 3. So really no one has been successful running the ball for Citrus, but of the running backs they do have, Keon Chapman has been the most successful. 2nd down and 7 yards to go. There's another handoff to Chapman, who goes up the middle. And a pickup of about 4. Going to set up a 3rd and 3, maybe 3rd and 2.
On the tackle, 93, Paul Reeves. Also 47, Jaden Genova. 32.
Saddleback showing some pressure here. Salazar with a man in motion takes the snap. There's the handoff. And nothing there. So the
Now
handoff
what
went to Morkechu.
Sorry about that, Matt. But what you want here from Citrus is you want to go to that far sideline. Maybe allow for Salazar to roll out to his right, present a couple of wide receivers on that far side outside the numerals, get yourself to the sticks.
And here comes another 4th down attempt. That pass is bobbled and caught, and the 4th down conversion is made. That was Simmons. Lorenzo Simmons makes the catch at the 30-yard line. Nearly went through his hands, but was able to keep his eye on the ball and pull it in. 3rd quarter coming to a close. Salazar, lots of pressure, gets that one away, looking for Simmons, but Simmons didn't seem to realize that the ball was thrown to him. And that's incomplete.
And both guys going out to that right side thought that they were blocking for one another.
So he had Simmons and Morkechu both out there, and neither one was looking for that ball. Morkechu goes out, and Chapman comes back in. 7 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. This might be the last play of the 3rd quarter. 2nd down and 10 from the 30-yard line. Salazar, once again, lots of pressure, scrambling around, able to get out of the pocket, and he's going to run with that ball out across the 20-yard line and pushed out of bounds. The flag comes out. Looks like it might be a hold.
This might actually be a personal foul on the near side. Losing his helmet there for a moment was Latuli, and an offensive lineman for Citrus ended up jumping on top of him because they got into a little bit of a scuffle after the play was far and gone. We'll see what the official says.
A lot more discussion than you would see for a hold, so I think you might be right on this one.
Personal foul. Offense number 55. 15-yard penalty for the previous line. Replay touchdown.
It's Eddie Enriquez. And that's the end of the 3rd quarter. We head to the 4th quarter with the score: Bobcats 38, the Citrus Owls 21.
And where that hurts Citrus is now you're going to be backed up a little bit more, considering that you've got some momentum. You're moving up the field, and the last time that you had the football, you were able to move down over 60 yards. That offense for Citrus has to keep the momentum going, and you're not going to be able to do so if you're going to get those unsportsmanlike conduct penalties that march you back.
Yeah, that was a really costly penalty there because they were definitely moving. Salazar with the scramble there got inside the 20-yard line. They were in excellent field position, and then that just backs them up, and they're all the way back to their own or to the Saddleback 45 instead of being inside the 20. So Salazar gets that pass away. It's complete. Was able to hit Robert Rodriguez, but there was nothing there for him.
It's all Dominic Lopez and being able to fight through a block. He gets up, gets across his block at about the 46, 47-yard line and is able to get away from that and still get to the receiver.
So big third down here for Citrus. Trailing by 17 points. We're in the final quarter. They've got the ball in Saddleback territory, but it's a third down and 16 yards to go. This is 4-down territory, so they don't need to get it all right here, but they need to get a chunk. Salazar drops back, and that pass is dropped. He was looking for JoJo Enriquez on a bit of a screen there, and he was not able to bring it in. And on a 4th down and 16, Citrus is going to have to punt this one away. 4th and 26, sorry, not 16.
Offense number 87. 15-yard penalty. Brings up 4th down.
And another personal foul as Citrus starting to lose their cool a little bit here.
4th and 41.
And you cannot have 2 personal foul penalties late in the game on a drive when you're trailing by 17 points. That's just a killer.
And it's tough because you understand the frustration. Earlier in the game you were scoring at will and now it's just not going the way that you'd like it to, but you got to maintain your composure.
So Saddleback's going to take over. And it looks like we might see Tyler Dutton back out there. Although right now, as I look out at the huddle, it's both Dutton and Nicky Johnson in that huddle. We'll see which one of them comes out with the offense. It is going to be Dutton out there. So we didn't see a lot of offense with Nicky Johnson. We've seen most of the scoring being done for the Bobcats has been done with Tyler Dutton out there. So we'll see if they're able to continue that in the 4th quarter. Dutton takes the snap, and he's going to run with this one. Getting pushed to the outside, not going to be able to get much there. Rolls out of bounds at about the 31-yard line. Pick up of maybe 4 yards.
Near. Elijah Ibanez, also D'Anthony Caldwell. Gain of 3.
Dutton got Kayvon Clark in the backfield with him. Clark 8 carries, 122 yards. Big day for Kayvon Clark. Dutton drops back to pass. Going to scramble out to his right. Finds a man complete to Martinez out around the 40-yard line. And that's a first down for the Bobcats. And it just feels like the offense is just running a little bit more smoother with Dutton out there than it has been with Nicky Johnson. And it's kind of the opposite of last week where Nicky Johnson had more of a feel for the offense. Dutton really has the offense moving when he's been out there. Dutton's got 3 wide receivers in Kayvon Clark, and there's the handoff to Clark, who goes right up the middle. And once again, Kayvon Clark has 3 or 4 yards before he's even touched, and he rolls forward for a pickup of 7.
Real quick, for those watching the out-of-town scoreboard, like myself, Ventura 38, Fullerton 28 with 8:31 left to go in the 3rd quarter. They are just out of the half, less than 5.5 minutes in or so, and there have already been 21 points scored. So 38-28, Ventura with the lead of 10 points over top of Fullerton with 8:31 left to go in the third. Palomar and East LA. East LA hosting that one 14-0. That's a game that you can watch right here on sportsnetusa.net. So if you have the opportunity, maybe you want to pull up a split screen, you can watch multiple games of football right here on sportsnetusa.net. An update from the Mount Sac and San Diego Mesa game. Mount Sac has gotten themselves back on the board with 4 minutes left to go in the third quarter of play. It is Mount Sac 14 and San Diego Mesa 10. So a 4-point difference between the Mounties and San Diego Mesa to this point, with 4:30 left to go in the third quarter.
So we have a member of the Owls down on the field. I'm not sure who that is. He's been down there for a couple minutes now. Always hate to see that. And they got him back up. And he's going to make his way towards the sideline. So here we go with the Saddleback offense. Tyler Dudden having a pretty good game. Dudden's got 3 wideouts. Takes a snap. Fakes the handoff to Clark. He's looking downfield. Got a man along the sidelines, complete and driven out of bounds. Gage Galbraith, the tight end who is playing for Nico Lopez with the catch there.
And I was just about to say, remember, Nico went out with an injury early in that first quarter. For Galbraith, that is going to be his second reception of the season, had one earlier. And that's an excellent throw there by Dudden as he's able to catch him in stride just across the 40.
Dudden takes the snap, turns and hands the ball to Clark. Clark up the middle. And another chunk gain there for Kayvon Clark. I'm sorry, that was Kenny Manacera with that carry. Second down and about 4. There's another handoff to Manacera, who's got the first down to about the 27-yard line. We've definitely seen the offense moving better with Dudden in there. This has been their best drive of the second half.
And for Saddleback, too, the other thing that they want to emphasize is while they are moving up the field, it's more methodical. You're trying to chew up clock. You know that you have the advantage on the score, but now with 11 minutes left, you're able to take the advantage of time.
Absolutely. If they can get points here, is really going to be hard. Manacera with the handoff picks up 5. It's going to be really hard for Citrus to get back into this game. They're already 3 scores behind. A touchdown would put them down by 24 points, basically slamming the door in this game. Would be really hard to imagine them coming back from that big a deficit. Dudden drops back to pass, looking for Manacera out of the backfield, but unable to hit him. Going to set up a third down and about 5 yards to go. Manacera comes out, Kayvon Clark back in. That was just the third incomplete pass that Dudden has thrown today. There's the handoff to Kayvon Clark, and he's just bouncing around, finds some room out across the 10-yard line, and he's down inside the 10, and it's a 1st and goal. It feels like Kayvon Clark is moving at a speed just slightly faster than everybody else out there.
And you also have to look at his reads too, right? He's looking at that counter play, and it's working every time because he's got his head up in the direction of the way that he wants to go prior to making that cut. He's anticipating where he's going to find his direction and lead right into the blockers.
So we see the clock tick down under 10 minutes. There's Kayvon Clark, and he's going to waltz into the end zone. Touchdown, Kayvon Clark. 2nd touchdown of the game. As he passes 150 yards rushing on this day, 151 yards, 2 touchdowns for Kayvon Clark.
And he just makes it look so effortless on that run. He ends up getting the handoff. He's already moving over to his right, and he's able to, excellent call there, waltz his way into the end zone. Every single time he touches the football in this one, it seems like he has just had an extra opportunity to be able to run 2, 3, 4 yards past the line of scrimmage before he sees that first defender who could be close to him.
Just an amazing day for Kayvon Clark and for this Saddleback offense. They've put up 45 points. They lead this game by a score of 45-21, and it's hard to imagine if we look back that this was a back and forth battle at one point. You know, we were sitting at a 21-21 game, and it's just been all Bobcats since that happened.
Just a few moments ago, you were talking about it. Now you put yourself up by 24 points with just under 9, or just a shade over 9.5 minutes to play. Now you're looking at it and saying, okay, if we rely on our defense, we're going to be able to walk this way to another tally in the win column. For the Bobcats, I think one thing that they can really hang their hat on, yes, the offense has been incredible, but I think you have to give a lot of credit to that defense making adjustments after that first half.
I mean, honestly, after that second quarter, the Owls had 14 points in that first quarter. They've scored 7 points since then, and that was a defensive touchdown. The Bobcats have just completely shut down this Citrus offense since that first quarter. And you got to give huge kudos to that offensive line. Open up those holes. 271 yards rushing for Saddleback in this game. So for the first time, we see Jake Dennerson at quarterback for Citrus. It would appear Brian Salazar's day is possibly done. Dennerson completes his first pass for a pickup of 4. Dennerson swings that one out, and that ball is caught by Tarek McCant. McCant picks up a couple of yards.
Dennerson's pass is complete. Tarek McCant. 3rd down and 4.
Third down and 4. Dennerson takes the snap, gets that one away, and he's got a man out across the 30 to the 20 to the 10 and in for the touchdown. Citrus finally gets back on the scoreboard. Jake Dennerson to Keaton Morales.
89. Keith Morales.
And it all starts with the play action. Initial fake, that it's going to be a dive play to the left-hand side, and you just pick it up if you're Dennerson and fire a laser right across the S at the 50-yard line. That is a strike delivered directly into the hands, and off he goes.
And so in case you were wondering, was Citrus waving the white flag when they put Dennerson in and took Morales out? No, they believe that Dennerson is able to put up some offense for them, and he shows that he can. And that cuts the lead to 17. There's still 8 minutes and 19 seconds left in this game. It's not over by any stretch. But if we can see that Saddleback offense come back out there and continue to work that run game and work that clock, it's still going to be really hard for Citrus to get back in this.
I mean, when you talk about that, their last drive took over 5.5 minutes off the clock, and they were just working their way up the field. Wasn't slow, it was methodical. There's a difference. They were moving up the field with purpose, but they were allowing themselves to get deeper into the clock and allow for the fourth quarter to start, for the fourth quarter to roll, and now you're taking time away from Citrus. If you're Saddleback, like you mentioned, the offense comes back onto the field. If you're able to take another 5.5 minutes off the clock, debilitating.
So Saddleback with a lot of players up front, possibly thinking an onside kick here. That kick is taken at the 12-yard line and run out of bounds. Ben Stewart with the return. Saddleback will take over on their own 24-yard line.
Saddleback takes over on the 24.
So big drive here for Saddleback. They've got a big lead, but they're looking to salt away that time on the clock. Use that run game to bring it down. They got Jalen Beverly rushing in there at running back right now. They've used a whole host of running backs today. Dudden takes the snap, hands it off to Beverly rushing, who goes up the middle. And a pickup of 4.
Carried by Jalen Beverly rushing. Gain of 4 on the play, 2nd and 6.
The offense not running the clock all the way down, but letting it run. There's another handoff to Beverly rushing. He spins, gets away, picks up maybe 3. Going to set up a 3rd and 4. Big 3rd down here for Citrus. If they can get the ball right back.
And when you say that they're not taking all the time that they can off the clock, the mindset is if we're able to take up 4 yards every single time we rush the football, we're across and we've got a 1st down inside of 3. So they feel that they are comfortable moving in the rhythm that they're at because they are able to continue to crank out this yardage per rush.
So Dudden's going to drop back to pass, and he's got that one incomplete. Looking out over the middle. He was looking for Rodriguez, unable to hit him, and it's going to be a quick 3 and out for the Bobcats. Punt gets away, and it's a very short one and takes a Citrus bounce, and the Owls are going to take over on their own 49-yard line.
So now if you're Citrus, you've got some momentum rolling for you. You bring in Dennerson on that last offensive set. He throws a strike and a laser for a touchdown for over 45 yards. You get a defensive stop from Saddleback, you get a defensive stop on Saddleback's offense, and you get the football inside of your own 47-yard line. This is an excellent spot here for Citrus to get themselves back into this game with the score.
So Dennerson loses the ball. It's on the ground. And Saddleback's got it. Huge fumble. Cooper Cirillo gets his hands in there, knocks that ball out of Dennerson's hands, and just when Citrus had some momentum going, it is all gone. Huge play. Dudden completes that pass to the outside. Jody Perez with the catch. His first reception of the season. Nothing there. But the clock keeps running. Jagger Blaukamp in at running back. Dudden takes the snap, hands it off to Blaukamp. Pickup of a yard. Going to be 3rd down and 9. And that time, Dudden ran the clock all the way down to 7 seconds.
Yeah, and you have the luxury to be able to do that because of that last takeaway. I mean, you're looking at it, you're inside of 5 minutes and 40 seconds left to go in this one. You currently have more than a 2-score advantage. If you're the Bobcats, I think you don't snap this with anything more than those 7 seconds on the clock, because you can just take it all the way down and essentially in 3 to 4 plays bring it down to under 3 minutes.
Dudden taking this one all the way down to 4 seconds. Drops back to pass. Has a man, but unable to come up with it. Just looking for Pierce, Malachi Pierce. Unable to come up with it. So another 3 and out for Saddleback. So on comes the punt team to get rid of this one. Last punt was pretty bad. This one looking pretty good, although it's going to roll into the end zone and it's going to be a touchback. So Citrus is going to take over. They trail by 17 points, just over 5 minutes. 5 minutes and 4 seconds remaining in this game here on SportsNetUSA.net. 5 minutes and 4 seconds standing between Saddleback and a 2-0 start to this season. Coach Fisher told me he believes this team is better than the team was last year. Last year's team won a bowl game. This year's team about ready to get off to a 2-0 start. That pass is incomplete from Dennerson across the middle.
That was that same play call that got them a touchdown earlier. A quick play action pass that goes right down the seam, but instead this one goes off the hands and to the floor.
And it was Morales he was looking for again.
And that option is open. It has been each of the last 3 times that they've run it. It's just a matter of can they connect? If they can, it's going for a lot of positive yardage.
Dennerson swings this one out to Bateman, who gets out across the 30-yard line and is pushed out there.
Pass caught by Bateman, run out of bounds.
Quick out-of-town scoreboard update. El Camino 17-13. They lead it over top of Canyons with under 6 minutes to play in that one. Fullerton has made it a little bit closer, 38-35, a 3-point lead for Ventura.
Dennerson gets that pass off again and out of bounds. Complete to Jalen Thompson.
I know both of us were interested in that Mount Sac score. With under 8 minutes to play, it's still Mount Sac 14, San Diego Mesa 10.
It feels like a lot of close games throughout California today. Dennerson is going to keep that one. He goes up the middle, bowls over a defender, picks up the first down. A nice run by Dennerson. It's going to be a first down and 10 on the 44-yard line as the clock ticking down towards 4 minutes left to play. Dennerson drops back to pass. That one's tipped. Hung up there just a little bit. Landon Hodges looked like he might have been able to make a play on that, but it was just out of his reach.
Jaden Humphrey's the one who ends up getting a hand on it. He's just moving off to that far side to cover the crossing route, and he gets his hand up, pops it up into the air.
Exactly 4 minutes left on the clock. It's a second down and 10. Dennerson with the handoff. And even when everyone's expecting a pass, they still can't get much on that run. Going to bring up a third down, 6 yards to go. That was McCant with the run. Dennerson gets that pass off complete, but not much there. In fact, it looked like it was a loss. Let's take a look at the replay of that. Lots of pressure, gets that one away.
You got to give credit to Jaden Humphrey there again. He makes his second defensive play on this drive. And in this one, he just gets away from one blocker, anticipates where the pass is going to go even through the misdirection, and is able to make a tackle.
So it's a fourth down and 6. There's under 3 minutes left in this game, and it doesn't really feel like Citrus is rushing here. It feels like they kind of have accepted their fate. Dennerson going to scramble, still looking, and he loses the football, able to pick it back up and fall on it, but that was fourth down, so it's going to be a turnover on downs. And with 2 minutes and 38 seconds left on the clock, I think we can put this one in the fridge.
Yeah, and if you're the Bobcats, this ball isn't going to go or shouldn't go into the air at all the rest of the way. You just want to make sure that that clock continues to move. And with an excellent opportunity inside the opponent 50-yard line, this is where you have the opportunity as an offensive set to be able to make sure that your second guys, your third guys come in and get extra chances to see live game action.
So it's going to be Carson Howard in at quarterback. You were talking about getting those second and third string guys some playing time. There's Carson Howard bouncing off some tacklers, and a nice little run for Carson Howard, getting his first playing time of the year. Citrus not calling their timeout. They have 3 timeouts, but it looks like they're going to let this clock run. We should run down all the way to the 2-minute timeout. So looking back on this game, Ryan, I think that it's safe to say that the the Saddleback run game, the Saddleback offensive line are kind of what pushed the Bobcats ahead in this game and what led us to what's ultimately going to be a Bobcat victory.
Yeah, and I think when you look at the Bobcats, they had explosive plays, but what you really saw success from them is, like you mentioned, the run game. It opened things up offensively. It opened things up for the pass on the outside. But mostly it's the offensive line and the wide receivers blocking and getting up into the second level of the field so that way they can open up lanes. In doing that, every time that someone got the ball for a rush for Saddleback, it was 8 yards, it was 10 yards, it was 11. Then you rattle off 27, 35, back to 6, back to 8, back to 9. And it lets you go up the field at will, taking time off the clock and setting up everything you want to do. It's almost like you're able to follow the textbook the way that you want to offensively because of how well everyone blocks.
Yeah, it felt like every single time the ball was handed off, it was at least 5 yards every time. There's a handoff going right up the middle, and there you go. There's 9 yards right there. Patrick Basily with the run. So that brings it to a first down, and you wonder, are they even going to run any plays, or do we just take a knee from here?
I think in this case you go and get the first down and you allow yourself to take a knee the rest of the way if you can get it.
There's the handoff up the middle. There's the first down. Braden Henson gets the first down, and that should be it. We should see a couple kneel downs from here, and that will bring us to the end of this game. There we go.
So Saddleback's offense had one fewer guy on the field than they needed. They were in victory formation, but if they had hiked the ball while that guy was hopping onto the field, they would have cost them a penalty and have to do everything all over again. So the best thing for Saddleback in this case, they decided to take a timeout. You don't take the penalty. You reset, get in victory formation, and then this one.
So here we go, one final snap. Howard takes a knee, and that will bring us to the end of this game. So it was good to be back here in Saddleback Stadium. Back here on SportsNetUSA.net, the Saddleback Bobcat season has begun. They are 2-0. We will be back here in 2 weeks for, who are they playing in 2 weeks? I'm sorry, I forgot. I had it right here.
They're going to end up playing Chaffee. That's going to be a 6 p.m. game, followed by San Diego Mesa on the 18th.
Okay, so join us back here in 2 weeks at 6 p.m. for Saddleback and Chaffee. For this game, I'm Matt Rogers alongside Ryan Osborn, Ed Ford. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Final score tonight, the Bobcats 45 and the Owls 28. Have a great night, everyone.